Peace, and Black Power families, Brother Ajay Taimba from Harlem Liberation School. You know, where we teach black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. I am chilling here in the neighborhood of my birth, Hamilton Heights, Harlem, Sugar Hill, Harlem, a neighborhood in which I still reside, and I'm proud to say that. Family, today I want to start by saying Happy Juneteenth. Many of you know that this is now a federal holiday in the United States, and there's a lot of controversy around Juneteenth. I want to kind of get into that and get out of that quickly because I'm not one to introduce confusion and division to the community. We have enough division and confusion already without me adding any more to it, right? But let me just say, as the historian side of me feels compelled to share this so that we understand the controversy around Juneteenth. First of all, Juneteenth is marked as June 19th, 1865. This is the time that Union soldiers, following the end of the Civil War, after the Civil War, made their way, because there were no jet planes, family. There were no high-speed railroads, family. So it took some time from people to travel at that time. On June 19th, 1865, in Texas, many of our people there who were enslaved learned for the first time that they were now, quote-unquote, emancipated or free to leave the plantation. They were no longer considered enslaved. They could, work hypothetically for wages. Although we know, in truth, that was kind of a scam. It's like, you're free, you don't have any land, you don't have any tools, right? You don't have any of the certifications or licensing we require or the education we require. You still have to come to us for everything you need. So that freedom and that emancipation obviously was severely compromised, right? But I want to talk about the controversy because in truth, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863.
Yo.
Okay? Whatever, Gary?
History, huh?
Yes, sir. All right. January 1st, 1863. Our people in Texas did not learn of that until June 19th, 1865, 2.5 years after black people were supposedly emancipated. So some people say, man, we were tricked, we were made fools of, we were humiliated, and I get that, I do. But I'm going to stand on the side of, you know what, any day, any black group in our community that's fighting for us, family, that's trying to feed our families, educate us, teach our children character and morals and ethics, trying to change this wicked, soulless government and create a structure that is humane and decent, that cares for its old and infirmed, is young, equally. I'm for that black organization. I'm for that black community initiative, and I'm for the holiday. So I'm not one that's going to get stuck on, we were fools because we celebrating our freedom 2.5 years later, family. Some say that we're not free now. Let's be real clear. Some say, how you doing, sir? Some say that our freedom now is a symbolic freedom, that we're not technically liberated. So this idea of liberation, emancipation, and freedom are very dubious, very interesting definitions. But that's why there's a controversy, because we learned, at least in Texas, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, the second one, I should add, was signed by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863. Nevertheless, today is a federal holiday. I was calling to take care of some business, and I'm like, they're like, it's a federal. I forgot it was a federal holiday. So a lot of quite a few of the formal businesses that we would normally use throughout the week are closed in commemoration. But it has me thinking about this idea of freedom. Because, Juneteenth is called other names. Some people call it Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, right? Jubilee. It has people give it different sort of titles and names. But whatever we call it, and whatever we want to say about the controversy of learning about our so-called emancipation 2.5 years later, the truth is, it's a beautiful thing. Our people were so-called freed from enslavement. Now, whether that was because the white man wrote the bill or because we did it, listen, the white man wrote the bill because he was forced to as a measure of war strategy, and he was forced to because for the Union to win the war, they needed those extra 4 million or so bodies of our people. And he knew that by granting freedom to the territories that were not rebels, that he would get millions of new people onto his side, the Union side, and at the same time, he would deprive the South of its major means of economy or labor. So it was a brilliant war strategy. But look, just because he signed it doesn't take away from the fact that our presence, right? Our presence forced him to sign that. It's kind of like saying we don't celebrate the Civil Rights Act or the Voting Rights Act of 1964 because President Lyndon Baines Johnson signed it. Yeah, he signed it, but he was forced to sign it due to the radical oratory, the radical organizing, grassroots organizing, and the brilliant tactical maneuvers of the Civil Rights Movement, family. He was forced to do that, right? So don't rob your people of the credit that they and we deserve. That when we're moving correctly and when we have strong sense of political machinery, we have a strong sense of unity, we have a common goal we unite behind, we can make things happen. We can create scenarios where people, presidents and mayors and city council people and state assembly people are compelled to sign certain laws. Not because they want to, not because they love black people, but because of the brilliance and magnificence of our organizing efforts, family. So the credit for those bills, the emancipation, all that goes to us. They were just the people in power to sign it. But they didn't sign it because they loved us so much. They signed it because they saw it as an important strategy for war. And because, look, why did he sign that? Let's think about it. Over 2,000 slave revolts and insurrections in the country. Enslaved Africans burning down plantations, killing white men, children, and babies, running away from slave territories to free territories, denying white people their labor, right? And that economic engine of enslavement. People stealing away from the plantations and living in the swamps in Georgia and becoming what we call maroons, creating their own maroon societies, family. It was our resistance. It was their fear of our constant resistance. It's the president wisely thinking, man, if I can get those enslaved Africans on our side and away from our enemy, the South, the Confederacy, we'll be in a strong military position. And he was right. My good friend, Sister Cheryl Wills, who's probably one of the best anchor people on network news TV in the country, right? Here in New York, she's written several books that explore her family history. And she has found that her third great-grandfather, that means her great-great-great-grandfather, Sandy Wills, was an enslaved boy, ran away, joined the Union Army, became a decorated soldier, family. That's amazing if you think about that. And he's one of many, right? So, of course, our people who fought for the Union Army probably were the fiercest warriors in that war because we had more to gain. So we thought. We didn't. I think some of us were probably disappointed. And we should add historically and politically. Unlike many people who come to the United States of their own free will, they come as refugees, they come seeking asylum, they come because they're persecuted for religious purposes, They're persecuted sometimes gender purposes. People trying to force them to have clitorectomies, and they don't want them, so they come into America, or their country is so economically and agriculturally devastated that people look to the United States as this beacon of hope, as the greatest country on earth. Well, let's be clear. Before we speak ill of members of our diaspora that come running to the United States with bags and whatever they got, I want you to ask yourself, what force put their country in such disarray? What force caused such impoverishment in their native countries that they feel forced to come running to the United States? Oh, man, the United States did. The United States and European countries. So don't get mad when you see Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, people from Caribbean islands, people from different parts of West, East Africa, Central Africa running to the United States, or people from Europe too. White people come running over here too. You gotta understand, people want to be able to have basic things: food, clothing, shelter, right? Medical care, decent education. Their ability to have those things in their native countries has been compromised and sabotaged by several wars, by several economic efforts, by several international treaties, family, like NAFTA, which we won't get into now. Things that kind of made these people have to sell their goods for very little bit of money. If they want to import something from the United States or another Western power, they got to pay huge tariffs or taxes. So when you see people coming here and then you say, oh, they poor and they run into America, they run into America because America destroyed their home, family. Let's be real clear. And don't take this Negro position, this very conservative position. Oh, I can't stand it. Come take our job. Well, guess what? The white man was saying that about you. That you was going to take his job. And let me tell you something. Don't let capitalism, because look, capitalism does not necessarily. I disagree with the belief that capitalism has to be ruthless and predatory. The brand of capitalism that we see certainly is ruthless and predatory. But capitalism, properly structured, properly governed and enforced, could have beautiful and positive expressions, right? But the way that it's run here, certainly not. But so let's be clear. Let's not take the position of our enemies. Let's be clear. People want a decent life, and if the United States and other Western powers have ruined their native countries, taking the land and the mineral resources, the natural resources, then got some sellout leaders to give the white folk good deals on their land and rob the people and don't share the land and distribute it fairly, equitably with the native born people. People are going to be leaving those places to come to the places that they see as being plentiful and abundant. That just makes sense. People want the best for their families. But look, what I'm saying is, we could create a world where nobody has to leave their native country to go somewhere just to eat and have, let's say, medical benefits and to have some type of labor laws in place. That man did that, family, and man can undo that. We have the ability to create a world. When I think of freedom, which is what I think of with Juneteenth, this is what I'm coming to. When I think of freedom and liberation, it's for everybody. Not just black people, everybody. And what does that look like? To me, it means that nobody has to kill nobody, rob nobody, badmouth nobody, put nobody in some false bullshit social ranking system. Everybody can eat. There's enough food. Listen, family. There's enough land and food and technology, if properly utilized with the right spirit, to feed everybody. Now, yes, we are in fear of having an overcrowding situation in the next couple of years. But notwithstanding that, everybody on this planet could eat if people were not greedy and selfish and felt entitled and felt that the land belonged to them, as opposed to the land belongs to everybody who occupies the land. But see, when you talk like that, people say you leftist, you crazy. Nah, man, I'm not giving that no title. Listen, if everybody can eat, then nobody should be aggy with anybody. If everybody, hold on. Remember, I'm on the streets of Harlem, family. We keeping it real. We in the trenches right here. If everybody has access to good quality, nutritious food at a decent price, nobody's aggy over the question of food. If we have governmental structures that represent and reflect the people who live in a particular jurisdiction, municipality, or nation, or state, and there are no barriers to people because of how they look, who they love, and all these other things, why would people be upset? If everybody has access to quality health care, everybody, whether they can afford it or not, or the health care is free, because there are countries on this planet where you can go and get surgeries and get hospitalized, get medication for free. For free. That is possible. That's a type of government. Now, that isn't done overnight. People have to meet, they have to structure that, have to plan that, and there's taxes and different things they have to do, but it is possible. When I think of liberation, that's what I'm thinking of, that everybody has a Juneteenth, right? That there's nobody that's walking around here working these crazy hours. They can't get off. If they're pregnant, they get fired. If they have to go for a surgery, they get fired. It's ridiculous. They can't stay home with their baby. No maternity leave. Nah, I believe we can create a world where all of those things are in place. Everybody eats well. Where old people who are sick and infirm don't have to be working in some lousy fast food restaurant up to their 98 years of age because they had no pension, they had no real benefits. No, I see a society where people say, hey, older people, you 70, 80, 90, you're sick, you have real disabilities, you don't have to work, and we're going to make sure you're okay. You will never go hungry. You will never want for medication. Listen, family, for those of y'all say, oh, IJ, you talking that BS again, listen. I don't know what the budget would be for that. I'm talking, right? But I do know this. Billions of dollars are sent to Ukraine. Billions of dollars are sent to Israel. Billions of dollars, possibly trillions, correct, let me correct myself, go to United States military defense. So you telling me that if we took them trillions of dollars and the billions we're giving to all these people for these wars, that we couldn't fund medication and medical care and education for people all over this planet? Sure we could. But it's the type of governing structure we have where it's based on greed instead of based on need. So when I think of Juneteenth, family, I don't think about the controversy about, oh, we learned 2.5 years late, we were fools, why are we celebrating it? Makes me think of liberation in 2024. What would it look like? What would liberation look like for you? I see it as a place where people can walk freely at night and be safe. I see it as a place where people aren't doing dangerous things to their bodies to fit some type of prototype because they've been made to feel that their body and their skin and their complexion, how you doing, sir, are somehow ugly or undesirable. See, liberation to me covers the psychological, the physical. It covers the economic and the political and the cultural. I see a place where people can learn their history. Nobody's hating on nobody's history, but kids are told the truth. I see a society where, guess what? We don't tear down monuments of hate. We leave them. Why? Because now, like as they do in Germany, in Germany, they have all these places where they house Jews and they took Jews and they had them in concentration camps. They left them up. They left them. Why? Because now you have living monuments, testimonies to the past, to the cruelty and ugliness of how this society, this country used to be. So now today's children can touch those monuments. They can say, wow, this is where they held the Jews. This is where the Jews used to hide. Yeah, that's how it should be. I think that we look at it wrong. We're trying to take down the monuments, and because we're seeing them as symbols of oppression, and they are symbols of oppression. But that's the best way to teach. It's the best way to show people when listen, when you can go to the new African American Museum in DC, which is a beautiful museum, family. It'll take you but you got to go on a weekend. You got to give yourself a good 3 days to really make sense. The museum is immense and it's massive and it has an incredible amount of information, right? An incredible amount of information. But the truth is, everybody should have museums that show their history. And the beauty of that museum is I can take a little kid and I'm telling about enslavement and how brutal people were, and they may not get it. But why would somebody do that? Now I can show them the instruments of torture, the things they put around our necks. I mean, incredible. The things they put around the thumbs to impair your thumb. I mean, the shackles. And then when they can see that and touch that, they say, wow, they get it. They get it in a way that no book or DVD or documentary could explain it. This is how I see liberation. A place where people can disagree, but they know how to do it civilly. And they know that at the end of the day, what we're looking for is not what's best for some party or organization, but what's best for the people we represent. And I'm going to tell you something. What you see between the Democrats and Republicans, you see right in our neighborhood. We got nationalists, Pan-Africans, just like these white folk. Maybe not in terms of their ideology, but at the end of the day, some of them forget about black liberation. Making sure all black people have food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, happiness, freedom, justice, equality, medication, Medicaid, or medical care, access to land, safety. They forget about that. What they begin arguing for is their organization, family. And nothing could be more disappointing than to see that the people who are in leadership don't get it. It's like what I call CRS, can't remember shit. Hey, Uncle Ralph, pardon me for cursing right there. CRS can't remember shit. What is that? That's like, I do this sometimes. I go to the living room or the kitchen for a specific reason. I get there and I go, damn, why did I come here? I forgot what I was here to get. That's CRS, can't remember shit. But you know, we suffer from political CRS. We start these organizations. We say we're here to fight for freedom and liberation. We're here to clothe and house and feed the people. We're here to do it. And then we get into these power struggles and we forget why we came. And now we're really there just to represent our particular organization. That's not liberation. Because if you know anything about the African independence movement in the 50s through the 70s, you know that many of these leaders started out pro-black, pro-African, fighting against white oppressors from European nations. And as soon as they kicked them white people out, they became just as brutal and ugly and vicious as the white man they kicked out. Right? They talking about freedom and justice. Next thing you know, they got one newspaper just like the white man had. One radio network just like the white man had. They own all of the natural resources, not the people, but an individual dictator. And then there's no term limits for elected offices. These people talking about I'm the leader for life. What type of craziness is that? Who would want to be the leader of a country for the rest of that's foolishness, right? But this is what happens. People forget why they came. They were there, some of them, for good reasons with good intentions, to liberate people. And once they got there, they got the taste of the power. And now they're just as oppressors as the oppressors they just kicked out the country. And we'll be just like that if we don't remember why we're here. We're not here just to big up our particular organization. We are here to make sure we fight that all people have food, clothing, and shelter. All people have decent medical care. People don't have to worry about dying or being maimed because they don't have enough money. That's, so we're trying to break down some of those barriers that get in the way of us being humane with one another. And guess what? This also means liberation. That if I choose to go to an all-black church, be part of an all-black fraternity, be part of an all-black Masonic lodge, be part of an all-black neighborhood, that's my right. If I want to be around my people, that's my right. Nobody can tell me nothing as long as I'm not doing harm. And this is This is the last thing I will end with, family. Thank you for watching. By the way, Brother Donnie, I see you. Sister Michelle in the building. My Uncle Ralph, love you, Uncle. Happy belated Father's Day to everyone it applies to. I just forgot the point I was going to make. You know, family, I'm out here in the streets of Harlem. A lot going on. I got to keep my head on the swivel. You know how it is. Some things never change. So, I'm kind of trying to be mindful while I'm doing this. So you have to forgive me. I just can't remember shit. See how it works? Yeah, so. But I really think that the goal is liberation for all people. I think that at some point we're going to have to resist being hyper-localized. What that means is, as much as y'all know me, I love Harlem, always bragging on Harlem and the Harlem history. Much as I love Harlem, I realize Harlem is just a community within a borough, within a city. And that I can't get so caught up in Harlem that I forget there's Africans and New Africans, what you call black people, who are catching hell all over this country, all over this hemisphere, and all over this planet. I can't get so absorbed in my particular bubble that I forget that. And so to me, liberation means that not just black people are free, everybody's free. Everybody can eat, without breaking the bank. Everybody has access to hospitals and gyms and all these things for prices that are not exorbitant. And in some cases, when they're necessities, like things like education is free, Medicare or hospitalization is free. And I know y'all say I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, if you could look at all the money this government sends to other countries, family, spends on defense, family, I'm telling you, we have enough money to pay professors well, to pay lawyers well, public defenders, pay them well, give them incentive to represent the 850 cases they got. We have money to pay the doctors well and still provide free medical care, free education. We have enough money to provide everybody with a home, family. I'm talking crazy now, right? Liberation. We have enough money in this country to provide every citizen with a home. Now, I'm not saying a mansion, okay? But I'm saying a basic home. And then if you work hard and you say you save up money and you're ready to come out your pocket, you can maybe get a better home. But we have enough money to make sure everybody has a home. Now, guess what happens when you have that type of society? Everybody's eating. Everybody's kid is going to fine schools. No governmental structure is unfairly or mistreating any particular type of citizen. Everybody's supermarket has good food at good prices, not just the white folk. Because, when I was young, my mother used to have to go all 40, 50 blocks to the white supermarkets to get decent food. And she had to send me 40 or 50 blocks to downtown Manhattan to get me what she felt was a decent education. That in itself tells you there's great inequality. You should be able to stay right in your neighborhood, anywhere in the United States, and go to a good school. Have access to good, nutritious food that's affordable. And have access to good hospitals with updated technology and equipment, and that is either completely free or has a sliding scale to accommodate people who have low or no income. All of this is not only possible, but I'm going to say it's necessary. Because now when you do all of that, now you could say to the homeless person, that was your choice. Now you can say to the person that's out here killing and robbing, you doing that because, something's wrong with you. But you can't say you doing that to eat, because the food is either free or it's good, it's delicious, it's affordable. You can't say you're doing that because your little girl can't go to school because the school is free. You can't say you're doing that because you don't have clothes, because you have all of that. But America can't do that. See, anytime America gets on this criminal population, that criminal population can come right back and say, wait a minute, where'd you go to school, Mr. Governor, Mr. Mayor? Because I went to school here, and it was terrible, and I had to fight every day, and I got robbed every day. Teachers weren't paid well. We had technology that was subpar. You see? But when you have a situation where everybody has what they need, the basics, the government becomes stronger. People are willing to trust the government because they know the government. You're not letting these corporations set up their headquarters overseas where there's no labor laws. Come on, so you can pay these people peanuts, work them half to death, make $4 sneakers and sell them for $350. That's crazy. That's crazy. That like what I'm saying is we have to redo this whole thing, man. It's rotten at the core. It has to completely be redone. And we bang on the police. That's just one of many. Police department, the precincts, that whole idea of what policing means, what it does, who it does it for, has to be rethought and reimagined. The whole idea of education, its role and purpose is subjective. What type of human being it creates has to be rethought and redone all over. This whole idea of hospitals has to be rethought, redone all over again, family, because it's not working. It's only working for a very small class, a privileged class of people who are high income, high education, and that has to change. So when I think of Juneteenth, I don't just think about Civil War time, post-Civil War, and Abraham Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the so-called emancipation of our people. I think of what would liberation look like for us in 2024? What would it look like? What would it feel like? Right? And let me end by reminding you all of this. We were never asked if we wanted to be citizens of the United States. It was forced on us. After the Civil War and after the 14th Amendment, which made anybody born in the United States automatically U.S. citizens, right? But nobody asked us. Remember, we were here because our ancestors were dragged from different African civilizations and brought here to be enslaved, brought here to do all this work, right? And then, look, let me tell you how crazy they are. They take our ancestors from Africa against their will. They redivide the natural nation states of Africa, changed the boundaries. Crazy. Disrupted these civilizations that had been there for thousands of years. Bring us over here. Now we're the descendants. We now go from being continental Africans to what people in my political tribe would call New Africans. Like the Republic of New Africa organization, for instance. Now, here we are, New Africans. Kind of a mixture between continental Africans, and now we have this experience in the United States, which has changed us, fam. We've been westernized. We have to admit that, right? The way we look at holidays and religion and all the family is largely influenced by our sojourn here in the United States. But guess what? At no point did anyone say, hey, you black people, you formerly enslaved folks, would you like to be citizens of the United States? Nobody asked us that. We didn't have no vote or plebiscite or referendum. Puerto Rico has one, if I'm correct, and don't quote me, every 4 to 7 years, where they ask Puerto Rican citizens, would you like to, A, continue being a commonwealth of the United States, which is kind of a nice way of saying a colony, if we can be honest. Would you like to be a state in the United States, or would you like to be an independent nation of Puerto Rico? But the citizens are asked this. Of course, overwhelmingly, every time they have this vote, Puerto Rican citizens vote to remain a commonwealth of the United States. What's up, brother? I'm well, man. Peace. Chilling, man. You know, so I want to leave that with you. We were never asked. They just made this amendment, 14th Amendment, made us citizens, and so we have a legitimate argument here to say, wait a minute, we still need to have that vote, because guess what? Some of us would like to have our own nation, and I know you think I'm crazy. I know. And guess what? You're right now mostly watching me from a country that was nothing but a bunch of colonies of Great Britain, the most powerful empire on the planet at the time, the most feared, the most expansive, and the most deadly. They ruled the seas and they ruled the land. There was no planes yet, and they ruled the land. And these 13 colonies said, "Nah, man, we want our own nation. We tired of being taxed and we have no representation. We tired of you letting the military from Britain stay in our homes against our will. We're tired of the king could just say that accuse IG of doing a crime that I didn't commit, and I'm just going through some court, some kangaroo trial. There's no jury of my peers." Right, right. They said they declared independence, and they fought a deadly war because they wanted their own liberation. And those of you putting up the stars, thank you. I don't quite understand the stars. I think hey, what's up, brother?
Oh, my brother.
I think the stars equate to some type of money. I don't think I'm gonna be getting a lot of money from it. But hey, if you want to throw a star and it don't cost you nothing, hey, throw me some stars on this thing, all right? All right. So that's what we're talking about, family. It's important that you understand we have legitimate political issues that we can raise, and nobody should make us feel foolish, and you shouldn't feel foolish. We have the right to say, what type do we want to be part of this government or not? We have a right. And there's plenty of organizations who have raised that. The Nation of Islam back in the day raised it. Certainly Malcolm's Organization of Afro-American Unity raised it. The Black Panther Party raised it in their 10-point program. They said we want a plebiscite, a vote to see if we want to be citizens of America or our own nation. The Republican New Africa raised it. The Revolutionary Action Movement raised it. I mean, this is not something I'm making up. Plenty of brilliant black people raised it. So when I think of Juneteenth, family, those are the things I think of, man. I hope you found it interesting. Maybe you found it a little entertaining. But in any event, it's my honor and pleasure to be able to use this technology to hopefully spark some critical political thought. And I hope you all enjoy the day. I don't know if you have to work or not, but certainly enjoy the day, family. And let us be thankful. Have a gratitude attitude. Because, you could be here 1 minute, boom, and gone the next, family. And your loved ones could be here 1 minute and gone the next. So let's appreciate what we have, even as we're critical of things, even as we're critical of the government, and we want better for ourselves and our families. Let's also be grateful for the good things we have. And with that said, thank you, family. Peace, Black Power. Everyone have a blessed day. Thank you.